Jeffrey here. In this video, I'm going to show you the good and bad things to do when you find out that your wife or your partner is having an affair or seeing some other person. And before I begin this video, I want to give you a bit of caution here, and I really want you to stick around till the very end of this video because what I'm about to say here will be a bit controversial. It will go against a lot of what other coaches, other videos will tell you what to do and how to even interpret the scenario. And what I'm going to say will also, I know, open myself to some hate and some criticisms here, and it might even offend some of you as well. But this has been the approach that has worked the best for all my students in my program, and if it's worked for them, I want to make sure that I express the truth and I express what I think actually works rather than try to be politically correct. So if you're wanting to learn some alternative approaches and alternative viewpoints on how to handle this matter, then stick around till the very end because I think you're going to learn a lot from this video. And for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Jeffrey and I help men in long-term relationships or in marriages with the right skills, with the right mindsets to be able to design a thriving relationship. So if you're wanting more content on this topic, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell button as well to be notified when I post new videos every single week. Now, before we begin, I want to let you know that the registration for the masterclass is still open right now. So if you want to join the masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up, then be sure to stick around till the very end of this video for the announcement on how you can get in on that masterclass. To begin this discussion, let's talk first about how most people would approach their partner having an affair or even suspecting their partner having an affair. So usually there are 4 things that people resort to doing. One is they condemn their partner having an affair to some problem with character. They say things like, once a cheater, always a cheater. You can never trust a cheater. Now, the implication behind these quotes that you ring in your head is that being a cheater is a character problem. It's a problem of either who you are or who you're not. And once you're a cheater, once you show you're a cheater, you're forever going to be a cheater. You can't change that for the rest of your life. The second thing that we do is we punish our partner for having that affair, for even thinking about being with other people, other men, and so on. So we typically do this by making our partner feel guilty. We say things like either subconsciously or consciously, how could you do this to us? How could you do this to us when we were been married for 20 years? How can you be so selfish like that? Another thing that we do to punish our partner is maybe we are at a point where we're suspecting our partner is cheating. Maybe we discovered something on their iPad or their text message and they don't know that we know, but we know there's something is going on here. And so you hold it over their heads and you go, oh, I know what you did. I know what you do. We need to have a conversation. I want the truth. So you're asking questions here, yes, but your questions are really for her to admit her mistake. And then once she admits it, you're going to let the bomb drop on her. The third thing that we do is we try to stop the affair from happening logically. So one thing we could do, for example, is we start to set a lot of boundaries around the relationship. We might track their phone. We might spy on them a lot more. We might place more logical boundaries to really stop her from talking or seeing or even thinking about this guy. And this is also when we become usually very controlling and very paranoid. We always ask them, where are you? Where are you? What are you doing? Now, the final thing that we do, number 4, is we hold the trust issue over their heads for weeks, months, or even sometimes years to come. So even if your partner tells you, I'm sorry, I did this, I don't want to do this ever again, you tell them basically, oh, I don't know if I can trust you anymore. Basically, we make things really difficult for our partner because really we feel betrayed. We feel upset and we can't really handle the fact that they just had an affair, that she was thinking about other people. And we often, very subconsciously, we are wanting our partners to do something, to pay some penance, to atone for their sins kind of mentality. And I don't want you to get me wrong here. I'm not saying that it's wrong to think in all these ways. What I am saying, though, is that if you want to think these 4 things, then I'm saying that the breakdown of your relationship will be inevitable and it's just a matter of time. It's a surefire thing. So if your partner is having an affair and you're completely okay with simply walking away from the relationship and looking for another partner, then totally think all these 4 things and you're gonna be fine. But if you're looking for ways to actually save your relationship, to actually reconcile your relationship past the affair, then I would suggest that you don't think any of these 4 things. Why do I say this? Because when you think any one of these 4 things, then you're going to start the cycle of doom that's going to lead to the inevitable end of that relationship. So to understand what the cycle of doom looks like, you need to understand this chain reaction between your paradigms and how it eventually leads to an outcome. So what you need to understand here is that your paradigms will guide the way you interpret your world, the way you interpret the events around you. And then your interpretations will also guide your emotions. When you interpret something, it will create your emotions. Then your emotions will ultimately guide your decisions. and your decisions will eventually lead to an outcome. So that's the chain reaction from paradigm all the way to the outcome. So if your paradigm of your partner having an affair is that it's a character problem, it's wrong and really bad, and this is kind of the end of the world kind of mentality, then whenever you find out or you suspect your partner's affair here, your natural interpretation will be, oh, I gotta stop this right now. This is bad, this is wrong, I gotta take control. And if that's your interpretation, your feelings, your emotions will be that of panic, will be that of worry, will be that of urgency and desperation, anger, all these negative emotions that really makes it difficult for you to have any kind of conversation with your partner. And if that's your emotion, your natural action will be, I'm going to punish my partner, I'm going to control this situation, I'm going to guilt trip my partner, I'm going to be angry at my partner, and all these 4 things that we talked about earlier. That's naturally going to be the case. And when you have this string of paradigms, interpretations, emotions, and actions, then the outcome will be very, very obvious. The first thing that happens is your partner now will start to hide some emotions. And so you can do all these things to try to punish, to stop, to guilt trip, to hold it over her head, to place boundaries around the affair so the affair doesn't happen. But just understand that all these things you're doing are simply logical appeals. But if the reason she's having an affair is that she is deeply unhappy with your relationship, there is something deeply wrong with the relationship, she feels deeply unfulfilled about the relationship, and she's seeking the fulfillment somewhere else, then you can try to do all these things to suppress those emotions, but no matter what you do, the emotions will still be there. In fact, if you try to suppress those emotions, the only thing that changes is that she will try to suppress it. She will hide it from you because she knows that if you find out, if she tells you about the affair, for example, her feelings, you're going to do all these controlling and needy things. You're going to place boundaries. You're going to get angry. You won't understand. You will just get mad at her because she knows exactly how you're going to deal with it when you find out. And when this happens, it will put you and your partner in a very, very hopeless and a very powerless position. So let's look at your side first. So on your side, you're going to feel hopeless because if you assign this affair to a character problem, that this is a sign that she's a cheater, she'll always be a cheater forever, guess what? You're naturally going to feel hopeless. Why? Because character problems are extremely hard to change. They're very, very hard to change. Just thinking about changing someone's character is exhausting. How do you even do that? The second thing that happens is that the emotions of why she still wants the affair, the emotions of her feeling unfulfilled will still probably be there. Because you're probably too angry, too riled up, too panicked to even ask the right questions. To ask the right questions of why is she having an affair? What is she unhappy about? Is there a good reason? Instead, you're busy just blaming and complaining and getting angry at your partner because of your paradigms. And your paradigms create your interpretations and your emotions again. Number 3, you'll be left more in the dark because her desire for the affair is still going to be there. The only thing that changes now is that she's going to make it harder for you to even find out she's still having these feelings and having this affair. So all these things will place you in a much more powerless position, in a much more hopeless position mentally, and you don't even know it most of the time. You think that you're taking control, you're having more control, you're having more power by placing all these logical boundaries, but actually what's happening is you're destroying that safety in the back end on her side, and you are putting yourself in a more hopeless and a more powerless position. Now, how does this make it more hopeless and powerless on her side? So if the real reason behind the affair, behind her looking somewhere else, is that she feels deeply unfulfilled, she feels deeply unhappy in the relationship, then you're going to be placing her in this very, very difficult and hopeless catch-22. And the catch-22 is this. If she shares her feelings about thinking about other people, how deeply unhappy she is in the relationship, how she's actually having an affair, she's going to lose. Because now she sees this is how you deal with a difficult circumstance. This is how you deal with difficult emotions, by getting angry, controlling, and just responding badly in general. So she knows that if she shares her true feelings here, that are actually very sensitive and very difficult, it's never going to end well. So she loses if she shares, but she also is doomed if she keeps it to herself, because if she keeps it to herself, then nothing good will happen, because nothing will ever get resolved. So either way she goes, she loses. That's the difficult catch-22 she's in. And she also feels this logic versus emotion crisis. So logically, I think your partner and most partners usually know that cheating is wrong. It's actually pretty bad. So logically, they feel guilty. They feel bad for having this affair or even thinking about other people. But emotionally, she's still deeply unhappy in the relationship and she yearns for something to get that fulfillment that she's not getting for the relationship. And these two things, the catch-22 and the logic versus emotion crisis here, is gonna create this never-ending string of hopelessness and powerlessness in her mind. Because the catch-22 here leads to more suppression of things, which leads to that logic versus emotion crisis. And as the logic versus emotion crisis gets worse, the catch-22 gets worse, and so on, until she's lost hope completely. Now, there's a quote that I want you to think about here, which is that you are free to ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And you can think all you want via the old paradigms. You can think that the best way to deal with this is to tell her it's wrong, to tell her that it's a character problem, to give some boundaries, to logically try to suppress her desire to think about other people. But just understand that if that's the paradigms that you choose, and that's the way you choose to see this scenario, then it will never end well for the both of you. So again, if you're okay with moving on from the relationship, then that's totally fine. Go ahead and think these things, but if your goal is to reconcile, then I suggest that you try to be open to thinking and interpreting and doing things a bit differently, and especially in how you handle your partner's affair right now. So then if that's the wrong ways, then what's the alternative here? What's the good way or the right ways of handling this? Number one, change your paradigm to always blame environmental issues for not just about this issue, but just about any issue in your relationship. You know, this should be a massive shift in your paradigm, in your relationship, and in life in general, to blame character last. For any problems with people or mistakes, blame character last and blame environment situations first. So instead of saying you're a cheater and once a cheater, always a cheater, I can never trust a cheater, ask first, what is the environmental issue? What is the situational issue here? What's been happening in the relationship? What's been happening in your life to cause you to act this way? To cause you to want to consider other people? To cause you to want to have an affair? So when you change your paradigm in this way, you are shifting your mentality, your mindset to actually feeling calmer. Because now when you see that the problem is actually a situational problem, it becomes much easier to fix. It gives you a lot of things to do that are within your control. And it gives you better questions to ask. Because when you ask the question, what is the reason why you're doing this, honey? That will put your partner's guards down for one. It will allow for a better conversation. And often you find some very, very important pieces of information, nuggets of information that can actually help you create this better relationship and actually help you understand what is actually happening here. What is actually going on here? And once you adopt this paradigm and you start asking better questions, I want you to start rewarding the truth getting out. Whenever the truth gets out, I want you to reward that. So regardless of how you find out about the affair, so if she tells you, thank her for telling you. Honey, thank you for sharing that difficult thing with me. It must have been really hard for you to share that with me. I understand that. If you find out accidentally, then mention it and be grateful. Tell her how grateful you are that you found out. You know the truth now. And I want you to also assure her that you are okay, that you're taking this okay. You're not upset. You're not angry. You're not going to control her. You're not going to tell her she's wrong. And that next time you would simply love that she share with you the things that she feels unfulfilled about. That she would share with you the affair in an earlier time and not keep it to herself. I want you to actually reward her sharing with you. If you do this, this will create a ton of safety in your partner. And that safety will be the thing that removes her from that very, very difficult catch-22 that we talked about earlier in this video. And that safety will also reduce that emotion versus logic gap as well. Because now, instead of feeling hopeless and feeling wrong for doing anything, taking any step, she can at least have an outlet to share it. Now, the third thing you want to do is to actually lean into the affair and dig deep. So instead of punishing the affair and trying to suppress it, lean into it and actually make this conversation into a bit of a fun game for the both of you. So ask her, for example, what are your fantasies when you're considering other people? What are your fantasies that you're not getting from this relationship? What are your fantasies in general about your relationship? What is something attractive or something unattractive she finds about you or other people, perhaps? You know, as you're watching movies or as you're going shopping together, ask her, do you find this person attractive? What do you find attractive about him? What do you find unattractive about this guy? What do you think about this shirt? What do you think about this whole vibe? So I want you to have fun in the process of digging deeper to understanding what is she actually fantasizing about? What is she actually missing from this relationship right now? The goal behind making this a game is to find out for yourself, what do I need to change about myself? What do I need to change about the culture of our relationship? What better environments can I create in the relationship to where she doesn't need to feel so unfulfilled anymore? And I don't want you to stop this game until you can say, you know what? now that I understand it from your perspective, if I were you, I would have done, I would have thought, I would have felt exactly the same things as you did. And if you're, let's say, saying to yourself, you're digging deeper and you're saying to yourself, okay, Jeff, I understand where she's coming from. I understand why she's unhappy, but I don't understand why she goes so far as to considering other relationships. She goes so far as to having an affair. If you're telling yourself that, then you haven't dug deep enough. That's really the crux of it, is you haven't really dug deep enough, because you can't say those magical words of, if I were you, I would have done and thought exactly the same thing. So if that's where you are at, I want you to dig even deeper and ask a question like, for example, okay, so you're unhappy. You're unhappy in the relationship. I guess I'm a bit confused, honey, on why you had to resort to cheating and not come to me about it first. How come you didn't come to me about how unfulfilled or unhappy you were first? And asking that question will yield a lot better answers that you can actually work with, that will actually lead to better understanding as well. So it's always possible to get to this point of saying, if I were you, I would have done and thought exactly the same thing. So no excuses here, guys. And these conversations can sometimes be a long time. It can take weeks or months sometimes for you to actually understand what is actually happening in the relationship, but be patient and have fun with the process of discovering. And this is the same process that I show all my students, and it's been working wonderfully for them. And I'm sure that if you change your mindset and you approach it in a different way, you're gonna find really, really good answers for yourself as well, and actually feel more hopeful about this scenario. And if you ever feel impatient, if you ever feel upset during this whole process, is usually when your mind once again reverts to blaming character. So whenever you feel upset, whenever you feel impatient, let that be a red flag and switch your paradigm again to trying to blame the environment instead. And once you find the core of what she's missing and what you need to do better, how you need to evolve yourself, I want you to be able to actually evolve yourself. So self-evolution is something that we prioritize in our program quite a bit. I want you to literally change your mindset so that you can become this shapeless character, shapeless water that can evolve to whoever you want to become, whoever you need to be to accomplish what you need to create. So many people are stuck in their identity of who they are. They have this small bubble of their likes and dislikes, who they are, who they're not, what they're good at, what they're not good at. And so when it comes to actually creating this environment which your partner can feel liberated, to feel fulfilled in, they struggle with that because they say, oh, what you want is really not me. But I want you to become this shapeless character where whatever your partner wants, you can embody that, no problem, because you are like the shapeless water that can evolve to whoever you want to become. It's like that quote again, is that true freedom and true power is not about doing what you like and avoiding what you dislike. If you do that, you're being enslaved by your likes and dislikes. True freedom and power is about understanding how to become whoever you need to become to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. And as a lot of people are hearing this, you're going to be complaining. A lot of people are going to be complaining, okay, are you trying to enable my partner having an affair? Are you saying like this is okay? That's not what I'm saying. You're misinterpreting everything I'm saying. I'm actually trying to disable it. I'm actually showing you that this is the best way to disable that affair. If you want, again, to walk away from the relationship and never see her again because you can't handle it, and you want to look for someone better, someone you can trust, then so be it, walk away and pick someone else. And if you're really thinking that by trying to control, suppress, and place boundaries around the affair, you're actually trying to disable it, you're completely wrong. Again, like we talked about, all you're going to do if you do this is simply suppress those emotions, and now you put yourself in a more hopeless and powerless position where you don't know about it. She's going to do a better job of actually hiding it because the emotions are still going to be there. So if your objective is actually work through the affair and reconcile your relationship, then this would be the best paradigms and the best actions for you to take to actually disable that affair. And I want you to also see that this also puts you in a really nice no-lose position. So if, in fact, it is an environmental issue, the affair happened because she feels deeply unhappy about the relationship, then you win big because you're actually in the right mindset and asking the right questions to actually learn a lot of things of how you can change, how you can do better, and actually remedy the situation and give her that fulfilled relationship that she wants. And if it turns out that it is a character problem, that she is a cheater, she does like to cheat, she has no integrity, then it's also a win because you understand here what you could have done better for your next relationship. Because honestly, if it's a character problem, that relationship was never going to last anyway. You're going to need to look for another relationship anyway at some point. At least now you have the right tools, you have the right knowledge to be able to go, now I know what I can do better next time. But if you think the other way, if you think about blaming it as a character problem, trying to punish it, trying to logically suppress it, then you are going to be in a lose-lose position no matter what happens. So if it ends up being an environmental issue, where it was because of her feeling unfulfilled, then you lose big. Because this was a relationship that you could have totally done something about. You could have totally saved, but you couldn't, and you didn't save it because you had the wrong paradigm about it. And if it ends up being a character issue, again, you lose because of your mentality. Your mentality prevented you from actually asking the right questions that yields better answers. Instead, you're too busy blaming and being angry, and so you don't learn anything new for your next relationship. So a lot of people end up just repeating the same cycle over and over and over again in the relationship and not ever knowing why it's happening to them. So if you want more mindset shifts and more frameworks that you can use to think in a more positive way about this whole scenario, to actually take more productive actions about the scenario, then I want you to check out the masterclass on the 5 proven steps to rebuilding your relationship from the ground up. And I also want you to check out the Relationships Rebel program by joining this masterclass as well. Every single day, our students are mastering this process, the mindsets, different ways of looking at your relationship, so you can get lots of wins and successes even though you may be going through this very difficult situation like your partner having an affair. And the success and the wins are happening every single day, guys. So if this sounds like something you want to do or you want to explore, then I want you to click the link above my head or also down in the comments below or in the description box below this video as well to register for that masterclass. And if you'd like to apply for the program, you have the opportunity to apply for the program at the end of that masterclass and submit your applications. So again, if this masterclass sounds like something you want to explore, then I want you to click the links above my head or also down below to register for that. And if you're looking for a free resource that can help you guide conversations better, especially the difficult conversations that lead to lowering of defensiveness, increase of safety, and also allow you to find win-wins better in your relationship, then I want you to download the free guide I have for you above my head, also down below this video as well. And if you're looking to join a community where you can post your questions and actually get some good advice about those questions, then I also want you to join me in my free Facebook group down below this video as well. In the meantime, do leave a comment below on what you find most insightful, most eye-opening about this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave a comment below with your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, then give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this one. And for now, I just want to leave you with these 2 other videos to equip you with more skills and more mindsets and more knowledge, more frameworks for you to design a thriving relationship for yourself. And with that, I will see you in the next video.